Yeah, you're being a good boy.
Hey y'all, it's us again. I'm Lillian.
And I'm Felipe.
We are the Postmodern Family.
We are Americans living in the UK, searching for Great Britain.
We should have a new theme for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Like an Imperial March song.
We have been doing YouTube for 2 years, and we make 3 new videos every single week. We would love it if you subscribe to our channel, so you can hit that subscribe button here, I think.
In today's video, we're going to discuss the top ways in which we have become just as awkward as you Brits.
Number 1 is the times that we've said, well, we better make a move.
Number 2 is when we're in a social engagement and we want to leave, but we're just unable to because we want to be polite.
Number 3 is when we said to someone else, let me check my diary, as a way to get out of a social situation or committing to something that we don't want to do.
Number 4 are those moments when you're talking to somebody and there's an awkward pause and you freak out, so you fill that pause with discussion of the weather.
Number 5 is when we, although we want to, we don't order things off of the menu because that would be awkward to order anything off of the menu in public among other people. Number
6 is when you eat something even though you don't like it because you don't want to offend the person who made it.
Number 7 are the times that we say that something is interesting, and that's our code word of saying we don't like it.
Number 8 is when you offer something to somebody twice because you want to convey that the offer is actually sincere. If you only offer it once, it's not a sincere offer in British code.
And number 9 is when we always say no the first time someone asks us to do something or asks us out or offers to do something. We say no instead of yes.
And number 10 is the fact that we drive with courtesy on the road. So I think we just need to explain some of these a little bit. So
yeah.
Number 1 is, well, we better make a move. What does that mean?
Well, it means that instead of saying, hey, we gotta go, or I have something else to do, or like, goodbye, you say, oh, well, we better make a move. It kind of like gently cues in to the person, to the host, that you're trying to leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In a polite way.
Yeah. Well, better make a move.
Or whoever's just talking to you.
Yeah.
It could just be someone's talking to you and you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as a pause occurs, though, you don't just speak over them.
So what?
A pause occurs and you say, well,
that's right.
Better make a move.
So what happened in America when you had to leave?
When you had to leave, you would just say, I have to get going.
Yeah, and that's not offensive. Americans aren't like offended that you have to get going, and I don't know.
Let's explain the let me check my diary. So, by the way, why do you keep going in circles?
It's his routine.
Watch your hair. So, firstly, before we continue explaining, I just want to say that we use these things only with other British people because that is the accepted British way of being.
It's only out of politeness.
It's our effort to be polite in the manner in which British people understand politeness. I think with foreigners, with Americans, with Africans, with Indians, we would just be ourselves as Americans. We would just say, I gotta get going. I wouldn't say, oh, better make a move, or talk about the weather or whatever.
In this instance, let me check my diary. If someone, if let's say we didn't want to get together, or let's say we would prefer doing something else on that day and you're new.
No.
So basically, let me check my diary is a way out of a situation that you don't want to offend them by saying you would rather do something else.
So what would we do in the U.S.?
We would say, oh, I've got something else that day. Can we reschedule to a different day?
No. This is when someone has invited you on something that you don't want to do, either because you know you have something on the day, or you don't want to hang out with that person, period.
If I don't want to hang out with that person, period, then I would go, yeah, let me think about it. I don't know. Just walk away. What?
Let's see. What would I do? Someone I didn't want to hang out with said, "Hey, do you want to come out for dinner sometime?" I think I would say, "Yeah, let me think about that."
Yeah.
I'd say, "Let me think about that."
Yeah. I think it's too far to say, let me check my diary. It's it's already
that's
promising that
much.
you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so for an American, that's a bit too far. If you don't want to lead them on to think that you do want to hang out with them when you actually don't.
Yeah, I think I said, let me think about that. I might take you up on that offer. I might take you up on that offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh yeah, sure. Well, let me check my diary.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Let me just check my diary.
When they're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Awkward silences. I think in the U.S. we would just leave them. I would just leave them. I don't feel the necessity to feel silence with speech.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that's just me or other Americans feel differently, but
I think some other Americans feel differently. But I think we are both extroverts in that sense and quite confident. And I think when you're like
insecure
about yourself, then you kind of feel like, oh no, I gotta say something and I don't want it to be awkward. But when you're like, yeah, whatever, like who cares if there's an awkward silence? It happens in every 7 minutes, right? Isn't that what they say?
I don't know.
Every 7 minutes there's a lull in the conversation. Yeah, it's normal. It's okay. And then ordering off the menu, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, that's just...
I'm just used to ordering everything off the menu.
Every meal is completely off the menu for you.
No.
Eat disliked foods. I've heard stories of... This is just so funny. I've heard the stories of a vegan becoming... stopping being a vegan because they wouldn't refuse meat at a dinner. And I heard a really funny one just today, which has nothing to do with food, but it's similar. A husband who of a couple that I didn't know, I met today, but I met the husband first. And the husband, the husband's name is Peter. And I remember Lillian saying, oh, his name is Pete. And so when I go up to him, I go, oh, hi, it's Pete, isn't it? And he said, yeah, Pete, Peter, whatever you like. And then he started telling me the story about how when he got first married with his wife, for whatever reason, his wife, without being told or getting it from her husband, introduced him as Pete to everyone without asking for his permission. And he prefers Peter. But he didn't correct her out of politeness. And their whole married life, she's been introducing him as Pete. And she calls him Pete, even though he prefers to be Peter.
Wow.
And so I thought that was just classic sadness.
Classic British behavior of not wanting to be offensive or... Yeah. I guess if it's your wife, you want to keep her happy. Just let her keep calling you Pete. Man.
Oh, man.
I did ask you how to pronounce your name in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you were just like, just pronounce like Felipe, like an American would.
Yeah.
And I was almost insistent on calling you Felipe, like in a Spanish kind of way.
Yeah.
And you were just like, no.
No.
It was hard for me to get over. Because I'm really used to calling people's names in their authentic way.
Because I am a language prodigy. And I love languages. And I feel like everyone should pronounce words from other languages in the way they're pronounced in those languages.
It would be nice. France.
Jean-Louis.
Italia. Korea. And then saying that's interesting.
Want some water?
I actually say interesting a lot. Like, oh, that's interesting. But I actually sincerely mean it. He did poo-poo? Uh-oh. In his face.
Yeah.
Oh, he did poo-poo. Can you hold tight? We're almost done, okay?
Okay.
So I used to say that's interesting for a lot of things, right?
I think you say exciting for everything.
No, not exciting.
You
Interesting.
do, you do.
Interesting.
That's exciting. When anyone shares something about anything, oh yeah, I'm applied for a new job and blah blah.
That's
exciting. Or
that is exciting.
Or yeah, you know.
We're not talking about the word exciting. We're talking about the word interesting.
Okay, go.
So I use that, and I use it sincerely to mean that something is, in fact, interesting. But it turns out here that if you reply to something and say, oh yeah, that's interesting, it was interesting, it actually means that you didn't like it, right? It means that you didn't like it here.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I do catch myself now saying something is interesting when I don't like it, because you can't say you don't like it.
Yeah, that's right. I think interesting more leaves it open. Like you could either like it or not like it.
So I've been introducing to my friends kefir, which is like a very sour probiotic drink, and I know it's very sour. And I keep telling people, like, you can try it, you don't need to finish it, like just taste it. And they're all like, oh yeah, that's interesting. They keep saying that. Yeah, it's interesting. They don't like it. Yeah, it's all right. And then the offering things.
Oh, the always saying no. Yeah, I don't know if it seems just very common in British customer service, at least, and I think even at work, is you ask someone something like, oh, are there more of those, or can you do that, and the initial default response is negative, is no. I don't know, I've not gotten into that habit even with British people. I haven't done that.
I have, because now that I know that when people offer something, they don't actually mean it for the first time. I'm saying no. Out of politeness, right? If someone's going to offer to have lunch with me, and let's say they don't really want to, but they're offering it to be polite, then the polite thing then to do is say no.
Yeah, that's what I've been told, is that in the British code, someone invites you out, the polite thing to do is say no. And then if they ask you again and they invite you again, then that is a sincere offer. And if you say no that time, that would be impolite.
A sincere no.
Yeah. You would say yes. You'd be compelled to a yes if you've been asked twice.
Yeah.
This is what I've gathered.
Or you say, let me check my diary.
Let me check my diary.
And then you get out of it.
Yeah, and then you talk about the weather, and then say you better make a move, and then it's over. You've escaped.
Thanks for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below if you've experienced any of these awkward situations. Or maybe they're not awkward too, they're just normal situations.
Yes. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, share it. All these things cost you nothing, but they help us. But it helps us as a channel. And if you really like what we do, you can become a patron at patreon.com/thepostmodernfamily.
What do we do on Patreon?
We give unique and behind the scenes access to the Postmodern Family. We have live chats. We have direct communication, DMs, private messages. You have access to us in a way that is different than YouTube.
So thanks for watching. Bye. Bye. Good boy.